something that I've been doing over the last 2 weeks or so, thanks to the wonderful Millennial Mike, is actually getting an opportunity to talk to new investors who are year 2 or year 3. It's an amazing, fun journey. We're hearing about action takers. We're hearing about people that believe in themselves, but it also reminds me about why I wrote this book. 15 Conversations with Real Estate Millionaires was written for my audience, was written for the world. One rental at a time was written for myself. It was a way I could look back and feel better. But this book was for you because there are 15 different stories. And I believe all of us, the one thing that we need during the 5 years of hard
Mhm.
is to find a story that we can go back, read, and read again so we can believe it happens. For me, that was Gary Keller, but it was only a page, page and a half. Now you have a book with 15 different stories. You got to go get this. It needs to be on your nightstand when you have a bad day. Find the story that resonates and take a listen or take a read. Dion, I know you want to say something. Go ahead.
Well, I want to say thanks. I mean, you actually did me a huge favor. You taught me a skill that I hadn't learned in half a century. And so I'm a book enthusiast. I have on my Audible, there's over 600 Audible books. And I listened, I was a truck driver, right? So what else are you going to do?
Mm.
And I want to write a book. I want to, and mine's going to be really boring. It's going to be like like an instruction manual for putting a stereo together. Like it's going to be step by step how you do it. No story, none of that. And when I go to write it, I now know that when you write a book, if you're ever going to be a person who writes a book, you should attempt to narrate it.
Yeah.
Because I could listen to your book, I could write your book, I could not write your book, but I could read your book in print. But until I tried to articulate it outside with the wrong emphasis on the right syllable, I
Hmm.
wouldn't know the true sentence structure of writing. And now when I go to write a book, I know I'm going to do a few pages and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to go, okay, if I was narrating this out loud to a recorder so people couldn't interpret my mistake when I stutter on a word, I'm going to have to do this right. How would I structure the sentence? So thanks for that.
Yeah,
Um,
and really what he's highlighting, folks, is if you want to hear the sweet nothings of Dion, he is the narrator on Audible of 15 Conversations with Real Estate Millionaires. I know a lot of you want to go to bed with Dion. You can now buy the
Do not.
Audible version and listen to him as you fall asleep to slumber.
I think you just said the nicest way ever that I can put anyone to sleep.
You could, yeah, you could go to bed with a lot of people. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. And really how that came about is you have your first book, One Rental at a Time. Like the kind of the reason why I found your content was had I found that book 5 or 6 years before you wrote it, my investing time would have been much better. I would have realized, oh, I'm not the only one trying to do almost this exact strategy. And when you put it on Audible, you paid $5,000 or so to have a
Good.
robot narrate it. I don't know how, because it says it's a person's name, but it's a robot narrating it.
Yeah.
And when you came out with the second book, I asked you to please give me the honor, let me narrate your book. And I didn't realize I was signing up for 6 months of learning how to do that, and which was great. Got it done. And so I've done One Rental at a
Yes.
Time as well.
Mhm.
But getting Audible to line up with releasing it is
Yeah.
challenging.
Yeah, so I've actually reached out to Audible. I have it on my calendar every 30 days. And what they're telling me is it is up there, but if you bought the old version, you just get the old version. It's not a swap like they told us it might be, but so what I need to do is I need to go buy it myself. I don't have 600 Audibles. I actually can go buy the version and see which one I get. Um, I'll actually do that today.
Well, maybe somebody in the comments below can let us know. If you go and, because when I go and do a sample right now, it still shows robot voice. So
Right.
maybe it's because I got cookie locked into the old one or something.
Yeah, I don't know. So, folks, yeah, the One Rental at a Time with Dion's sweet voice is supposed to be uploaded according to Audible. I need to go buy it and see which version I get because I haven't bought the original, so I'm not locked in via cookie or hash or whatever the heck they call these things. Otherwise, I'll reach out to Audible again and say, "What the heck?" But back to this book, guys. I don't know when you talk to a lot of new investors, they're doing the work, they get into it, they haven't got a deal yet, or maybe they got a deal and they have no money left. There's lots of things that trip people up
Hmm.
where they just feel stuck. That was, I mean, So the time between writing One Rental at a Time and writing this book was about 4 years. I took an attempt probably every year to write the next book, but nothing really felt right or clicked until I had a problem to solve. And that was real estate investing is amazing. Your story is amazing, meaning me, but there's so many other ways to do it. Why don't you go write those other stories? So again, 15 different stories, all from my YouTube channel, all from people I've interviewed. And it's the other thing, if you ever do write a book, Dion, don't put pictures in it. The reason this book costs so much is because I put pictures of all my guests in the back of the book. Amazon just charges an arm and a leg once you put pictures in a book. So note to self, don't put pictures in books.
I was waiting, and haven't seen it yet, for the genius transition you were going to come up with somehow including Matt into a video about a book, because Matt has pointed out many times, not a reader,
Not a reader.
to that, but you are a consumer when it comes to podcasts and YouTube. But
yep,
you've heard us talk about the book a few times, Matt. Do you think you recognize any of the interviews that Mike's done?
Oh yeah, it was, yeah. Meet Kevin was really straightforward. Yeah, Meet Kevin was really straightforward because I knew what his story was, for sure. And I think that, you know, one of the things that so many newbies are taught to do is get a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot more mentees than there are mentors.
Right.
That's why mentors cost something, usually. And so the challenge that you have is that, can you find someone for free? Probably not. Can you find someone for money? Probably. Are they any good? Maybe, maybe not. Do you know what the outcome was? And why would you pay all that money for one mentor when you can get 15?
Right.
What you're looking for is you're looking for the stories. You're looking for, this is what I went through, but this is what I made it through. And so, whereas myself, yeah, I've been through a million challenges and made it through them all. And some cost me a fortune and some cost me a little. But at the end of the day, it's something that I can then share. What's great about the book is that it gives you 15 different people. Mm-hmm. Here's exactly the journey they went through. Here's the way that they approached it. Here's the problems that they found. Here's how they got through those problems. And it essentially gives you 15 micro mentors where you have the ability to pick it up at any time, see exactly what they did, see that they made it to the end, because so often people give up hope right at the finish line.
Exactly.
Chickens. Keep
that what you just articulated, Matt, was exactly what inspired me to write the book.
Sure.
I would love to. I know you guys have talked about, both of you individually and maybe collectively, we've talked about writing a book, but for me, it's once I get that bolt of lightning, like, oh, I got it, then it just kind of comes out. And that was the lightning bolt for me, is, can I create something that old me would read and read and read and read? Because again, the first 5 years suck, and all these stories, it's all hard. The first 3 to 5 years are hard for everybody. The new investors I'm talking to, all hard, but it's worth it. And sometimes you're just stuck in a dark place and you need somebody to turn on a light. This book is trying to be the light switch. Just go read the story again. It was hard for them. It's hard for you. Don't expect it to be easy. It's hard for everybody. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, it is. It's hard. Like anything worth doing is. It's hard. Yeah, way it goes. So I don't know an easy way of doing it. It becomes easy when you learn a lesson and you recognize, I don't have to go around the building. I can go right through it.
Right.
And so that's the idea. The idea is picking up and seeing as many strategies as you can, seeing what the outcome was, and also seeing that the strategy is time tested. Right. You know, there's going to be a lot of guys that blow up in the next couple of years that have been pumping and dumping everything in the last 2. It's going to be the way it goes. That's how it goes. At the end of the day, I'm going to be there. You guys are going to be there. We're going to buy more properties. We're going to buy the best deals we've ever had. Mike, you and I are probably going to buy the biggest deals we've ever had.
I agree.
You know, I'm already having conversations about some of those deals and the fact that the numbers are going to change from 3.75 to 8.2. So we've already had those conversations. So if people want to learn the lesson on their own, by all means, go out there, bang your head against the wall and try and figure it all out. And then good news, 20 years, you can have a course. If you made it, you can have a course, you can have channel, you can do all that stuff. It's about experience. And everything that I did for 20 plus years is the experience that I share with people. And so when somebody says, XYZ about this. Hey, I'm not going to give you advice on what to do, but I'll tell you, this is what I did. Here's how it went. And maybe your calculus will be different, but maybe it won't be. So I think people really need to understand that the best value that you're going to get out of your mentor is the stories. It's the stories.
I want people to believe in themselves. I think people that get started real estate investing believe in themselves, but something goes wonky during those 3 to 5 years. And I took a shot at writing a book that would help with that. I don't intend all 15 stories to help everyone. In fact, they probably shouldn't. They're 15 unique stories. But if you read the book cover to cover or listen to Dion cover to cover, you're going to find 3 or 4 that you should go back to when you have a bad day. That was the intention. I don't expect most people to read the book twice, cover to cover, but I expect you to find the story that resonates. And if you're like me, I would curl up. I mean, I remember I would pull Gary Keller's blue and white book, Real Estate Millionaire, or whatever it was called. And in the very back, he had a page and a half about investors. I would read that 3 times a week just to feel like, I know it. It worked for them. It's got to work for me. That's why we wrote the book. And obviously it's a lot more than a page and a half per story. Matt, where can people find you?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and Instagram. We always hang out on 11:30 a.m. on Eastern time on Sundays. I just answer people's questions, try and help them in their journey.
There you go. And Dion, where can they find you?
You can find me right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom, where sometimes I give you gifts like this. This book is the one that you can use for Christmas coming up, because most of us, when we're in the financial space like this, reaching financial freedom, have friends and family members who absolutely won't talk finances with us. They're waiting for the crash. They're waiting for interest rates to come down. Housing is too risky. Whatever the reason is, and I'm doing this with 2 people. This is the book that you get them for Christmas, and you say, once you've read this, and you've seen that there were 15 people with all of the challenges that you keep using as excuses as to why you can't do what I've done, then we'll talk about this. But until then, here's the book.
Here's the book. Guys, you're amazing. Happy holidays. Have fun. Thank you for being a part of the channel every week for 3-4 years. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you. Thanks again.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.